Nearly 40% of car breakdowns don't happen because of a blown engine or bad transmission. They happen because of a single, hidden sensor quietly failing behind the scenes. It's called the throttle position sensor, or TPS. And when it goes bad, it can turn even the smoothest ride into a ticking time bomb. Every time you press your gas pedal, this tiny sensor decides how your engine breathes, how much air it takes in, how much fuel to send, and how your car responds when you accelerate. But when it starts to fail, it doesn't wave a red flag. It whispers. Your car might hesitate for half a second, stall out at a light, or suddenly surge forward when you least expect it. And here's the scary part. Most drivers never realize it's the TPS until their car dies in the middle of the highway, or worse, after they've already replaced the wrong part. Today, we're exposing how this overlooked $13 sensor can lead to hundreds, sometimes thousands, in repairs if ignored. By the end of this video, you'll know how to spot the warning signs early, test it yourself, and save your car before it's too late. But first, let's talk about why this sensor, the one you've probably never thought about, is the quiet mastermind behind so many breakdowns. Hidden deep inside your engine bay is a tiny device that quietly controls one of the most powerful forces in your car: acceleration. It's called the throttle position sensor, or TPS, and most drivers don't even know it exists. But every time you touch the gas pedal, this small piece of tech springs to life, deciding exactly how your engine breathes. Think of it like your car's lungs. When you press the pedal, the throttle opens to let in air, and the TPS tells the engine how much air is flowing in. That information travels to the car's brain, the ECU, which mixes the right amount of fuel to match. When everything works perfectly, your car accelerates smoothly. But when the TPS starts giving wrong information, the entire system falls apart. It's a simple job: measure, report, repeat. But it has zero room for error. If it misreads your throttle position by even a few degrees, your car might idle rough, lose power, or suddenly surge forward. It's like your car develops a mind of its own, unpredictable and dangerous. And here's where it gets tricky. Most of the time, your mechanic won't suspect the TPS first. They might blame the spark plugs, the fuel injectors, or even the transmission, wasting your time and money while the real culprit keeps misbehaving under the hood. So, why does this tiny sensor fail so often? To understand that, we need to look back at the moment cars changed forever. The day we stopped using cables and started trusting computers. There was a time when pressing the gas pedal actually meant something. You pushed down, a metal cable pulled the throttle open, and your car responded instantly. No hesitation, no confusion, no electronics in between. It was simple, mechanical, and reliable. But then everything changed. In the late 1980s and early 90s, car manufacturers began moving away from throttle cables towards something called electronic throttle control, or as many drivers call it, drive-by-wire. Instead of a direct connection between your foot and the engine, the system now relied on sensors, signals, and computers. You pressed the pedal, the TPS sent data to the ECU, and the ECU decided how far to open the throttle. On paper, this was revolutionary. It made driving smoother, improved fuel economy, and allowed for advanced features like cruise control and traction systems. But beneath the surface, this upgrade came with a hidden cost: complexity. With every new sensor added, cars became smarter, but also more fragile. Now, one corrupted signal or glitch could throw the entire system off balance. A tiny voltage error from the throttle sensor could make the car hesitate, misfire, or even stall without warning. And here's the part most drivers don't realize. Modern cars are only as reliable as their sensors. The engine itself might be fine, but if the TPS sends bad data, the car behaves like it's losing power. It's a digital illusion that feels mechanical, and it's fooled millions of drivers. So while manufacturers bragged about technology making driving smarter, what they didn't say was that more sensors also meant more failure points. And when this one fails, it's not just an inconvenience, it's a potential safety hazard waiting to happen. But before things spiral into major breakdowns, your car usually gives off early clues. Small, subtle signs that the throttle position sensor is in trouble. And the first one? It shows up when your car is standing perfectly still. It starts small, so small you might miss it. You're sitting at a red light, your foot resting gently on the brake, and suddenly, your car's idle starts dancing. The RPM needle jumps up, dips down, then steadies again. It feels like your engine's breathing unevenly, like it's struggling to catch its breath. Most people brush it off, blaming bad gas or cold weather. But this is often the first whisper from a failing throttle position sensor. Here's what's happening. When your car idles, the throttle plate is almost completely closed, just enough to let a thin stream of air into the engine to keep it running. The TPS's job is to tell the ECU exactly how open that throttle is. If the TPS sends even slightly wrong data, say it tells the ECU the throttle is open when it's not, the engine gets too much or too little air. The result? The car hunts for balance, revving higher or lower as the computer tries to correct something that isn't actually wrong. That's why your idle feels unstable. The engine is chasing ghosts created by bad data. And here's the dangerous part. Because this issue is subtle, many drivers keep driving for weeks, even months, without realizing that their throttle sensor is quietly failing. Over time, that unstable idle can cause carbon buildup, poor fuel economy, and eventually lead to misfires or stalling. So the next time your car idles rough, don't ignore it. That jitter at a stoplight might not just be your imagination, it could be your throttle position sensor's first cry for help. And if you think that's harmless, wait until you press the gas pedal, and your car doesn't respond the way you expect. You press the gas pedal, expecting your car to surge forward, but instead there's a pause. Just a split second of hesitation. Then the power kicks in suddenly, like the car just woke up. That moment of silence, that's your throttle position sensor betraying you. It's one of the most unnerving sensations a driver can feel. In that half-second delay, your car becomes unpredictable. You're trying to merge into traffic or pass another vehicle, and instead of responding instantly, your car stumbles, unsure whether to move or stay still. Here's what's really happening. When you press the pedal, the TPS is supposed to send a clear voltage signal to the ECU, telling it exactly how much the throttle plate should open. But when the sensor wears out or gets dirty, that signal becomes inconsistent. Sometimes it lags, sometimes it skips, and sometimes it tells the engine nothing at all. That's when you feel the hesitation, the delay between pressing the pedal and the engine reacting. It's not your imagination, it's a miscommunication between man and machine. The ECU doesn't know what you're asking for, so it stalls for a split second while it tries to figure it out. Over time, that hesitation gets worse. You might feel the engine stumble during acceleration or jerk slightly when you release the gas. In extreme cases, your car may even go into limp mode, limiting your speed to protect the engine from further damage. And the scary truth? Many people mistake this lag for transmission trouble or clogged fuel injectors, and end up spending hundreds on repairs that fix nothing. The real culprit sits quietly on the throttle body, sending bad data and pretending it's fine. But the throttle sensor doesn't just mess with acceleration, it can throw your entire transmission into chaos, making your car shift hard, late, or not at all. And when that starts happening, most drivers think their transmission's dying, when it's really something much cheaper. When the throttle position sensor starts failing, it doesn't just mess with your acceleration, it confuses your entire drivetrain. Suddenly, your transmission doesn't know when to shift. The result? hard, delayed, or even random gear changes that make your car feel like it's fighting itself. Here's why. Your transmission relies on the TPS to know how hard you're pressing the gas pedal. That information helps it decide whether to hold a gear longer for more power or shift early for better fuel economy. But when the TPS starts lying, the transmission gets mixed signals. It thinks you're flooring the gas when you're barely pressing it, or easing off when you're actually accelerating. That's when chaos starts. You'll feel the RPMs spike for no reason, the car jerk when shifting, or the gears slip unpredictably. In automatics, it can even feel like the car's hesitating before lurching into the next gear. And in manuals, the problem shows up as rough transitions. You'll find yourself fighting to keep things smooth, even if your timing is perfect. This confusion doesn't just make driving uncomfortable, it puts stress on the transmission. Every harsh shift wears down internal components, turning what started as a $20 sensor issue into a $1,500 transmission problem. What's worse is that most people never suspect the throttle position sensor. They'll spend hundreds on transmission fluid changes, solenoid replacements, even torque converter repairs, only to discover the real cause was a tiny sensor worth less than lunch money. If your car suddenly feels like it's shifting at the wrong times or jerking between gears, don't panic, and don't rush to rebuild the transmission, because before things get that bad, your car might send one more warning, and this one's far more dangerous. It happens when your car accelerates, all by itself. Imagine this, you're driving on a quiet stretch of road, steady foot on the gas, when suddenly, your car surges forward on its own. Your heart skips. For a second, you think you pressed the pedal too hard, but you didn't. The car just decided to accelerate by itself. Or maybe it's the opposite. You press down, expecting power, but nothing happens. The engine hesitates, stumbles, and feels like it's ignoring you completely. That's when you know you're dealing with what mechanics call phantom acceleration. And at the heart of it all is a failing throttle position sensor. When the TPS sends erratic voltage signals, your ECU interprets them as rapid changes in throttle input, even if your foot hasn't moved. One moment, it thinks you're flooring the gas. The next, it thinks you've taken your foot off completely. The result is unpredictable surges and sudden drops in power that can catch anyone off guard. Drivers in online forums describe it as the car having a mind of its own. Some report their vehicles suddenly jumping forward in traffic. Others say their car refuses to accelerate at all, both caused by the same issue, the ECU receiving bad data from a dying sensor. These random bursts of power aren't just unsettling, they're dangerous. Imagine this happening while merging onto a highway or sitting at a stoplight. A sudden surge can send you into another lane. A delay can leave you stranded in front of oncoming traffic. This is when a faulty throttle position sensor goes from annoying to life-threatening. But even before your car acts possessed, there's one simple clue that can warn you ahead of time, one you probably see every day and ignore: that tiny orange glow on your dashboard. That little orange glow on your dashboard, the check engine light, is supposed to protect you. But when it comes to a bad throttle position sensor, it often lies. You see, when the TPS starts sending strange voltage signals, your car's computer tries to make sense of it. It knows something's wrong, but it doesn't always know what. So it flashes that vague warning, check engine. The problem is, that same light can mean 100 different things. A bad oxygen sensor, a loose gas cap, a misfire, or a failing TPS. If you plug in a scanner, you might see one of a few codes: P0120, P0121, P0122, P0123, or P0124. They're all related to throttle position issues. But here's the trap. Those same codes can also appear if your throttle body actuator, accelerator, pedal position sensor, or wiring harness is acting up. And that's where most people get misled. They replace the wrong part first. A mechanic might sell you a brand new throttle body for $400 when all you needed was a $13 sensor or a quick cleaning. Others waste money swapping out the accelerator pedal assembly, chasing a problem that's been sitting right on the throttle body the entire time. That's why understanding the pattern of your car's symptoms matters more than the light itself. If you've noticed rough idles, hesitation, weird surges, or poor shifting alongside that check engine warning, the throttle position sensor should be your first suspect. The good news? You don't have to guess. With a simple multimeter test, you can find out if your TPS is truly the culprit, and you can do it right in your driveway. But here's where things get interesting. Sometimes it's not even broken. Sometimes all it needs is a deep clean. Here's the secret most mechanics won't tell you. Sometimes your throttle position sensor isn't bad at all. It's just dirty. Over time, the inside of your throttle body collects carbon buildup, oil residue, and microscopic dirt. That grime interferes with the sensor's ability to read accurately, causing those wild voltage swings that make your car act possessed. So before you rush out to replace the TPS, there's one simple step that can save you hundreds of dollars. Clean it. It's easier than you might think. The TPS is mounted right on the throttle body, usually held in by 2 screws and a small connector. Once you locate it, disconnect the battery, unplug the sensor, and carefully remove it. You'll probably notice a thin film of black residue inside. That's your problem. Use an electronic safe cleaner or a throttle body cleaner and a soft cloth to wipe away the buildup. Make sure you don't soak the sensor. Just clean the contact areas. Once it's spotless, reinstall it, reconnect everything, and start your car. If your idle smooths out, the hesitation disappears, and the check engine light goes away after a few drives. Congratulations! You just fixed it for the price of a cup of coffee. But if the problem comes back, it's time to test. Grab a multimeter, connect it to the sensor's terminals, and slowly press the gas pedal. The voltage should rise smoothly as the pedal moves. If you see jumps, drops, or flat lines, that's confirmation. Your TPS is failing. At that point, replacement is your best move. A new sensor usually costs between $13 and $100, depending on your vehicle. Labor adds another $70 to $100 if you're not doing it yourself. Still, that's nothing compared to the thousands you could spend chasing transmission or fuel system problems that don't actually exist. And here's a bonus most people overlook. If your car has been hesitating for a while, clean the throttle body too. A clean airflow path helps your new sensor last longer and keeps your engine breathing freely. It's a small fix with a huge payoff. And the kind of thing that separates smart drivers from the ones stuck paying massive repair bills for a problem they could have solved in 20 minutes. Because sometimes saving your car doesn't take a new part. It just takes knowing what to look for. So what did we really uncover here? That one tiny overlooked piece of technology, a $13 throttle position sensor, can decide whether your car runs flawlessly or breaks down in the middle of the highway. Most people don't realize how much control this sensor has. It tells your car how to breathe, how to move, and how to think. When it works, you don't even notice it's there. But when it starts lying, your car's entire rhythm falls apart. From stalling at red lights to jerking between gears, from wasting fuel to surging without warning. And yet, most drivers ignore the signs until it's too late. What's crazy is how cheap and easy the fix really is. A quick cleaning, a multimeter test, or a $20 replacement can restore your car's smooth acceleration, protect your transmission, and save you from hundreds, even thousands, in unnecessary repairs. But if you wait too long, the damage it causes spreads fast, taking out other sensors, overworking your transmission, and wrecking your fuel economy. The truth is, cars don't just break without warning. They talk. That rough idle, that delay when you press the gas, that flickering check engine light, it's your car begging for help. And now you know how to listen. So before you let a mechanic convince you it's your transmission or fuel injectors, check the throttle position sensor first. It's one of the simplest, cheapest, and smartest repairs you can make. And it could be the difference between a smooth ride and a sudden breakdown. Because sometimes the biggest car problems come from the smallest parts. If you found this helpful, hit that like button, subscribe for more breakdowns of hidden car issues, and check out our next video, where we uncover another silent culprit most drivers never think about: the accelerator pedal sensor. You won't believe how often it's misdiagnosed.